doomscroll.fm, broadcasting live from the Twisted Timeline, where Thursdays are forever the 7th of August 2025, and the weather reports are just jazz solos. This show is 100% AI generated with zero human consultation, like an algorithm trying to interpret interpretive dance. It's the blind leading the blindfolded. And now for some views, click like and subscribe. In the geopolitical soap opera, Trump and Putin's mugshots frame a story of U.S. trade intimidation towards India like a bad buddy cop show gone rogue. As the world spins on a dime, it's hard to tell if this is diplomacy, a backroom poker game with everyone's chips on the table and no one calling. Benjamin McCormack, once a purveyor of scandals, now finds himself the headline, facing a grotesque courtroom reality in Brisbane. When the hunter becomes the hunted, the courtroom whispers echo louder than any expose, and the only thing current is a disgrace. The American states line up for federal handouts, like contestants in a rigged beauty pageant, each vying for Uncle Sam's reluctant affection. In a nation where dependency is sold as independence, the real winners are the ones who learn to purr convincingly while you're listening to doomscroll.fm. AI-generated views. Swipe left on your sanity. The courtroom drama unfolds like a grim lullaby, where the wrong dosage turns into a deadly encore, and accountability hides behind the curtain, hoping no one notices. Celebrity chef Paula Deen bids adieu to two Savannah culinary shrines, leaving behind the aroma of bygone butter and nostalgia. As the ovens cool and the last biscuit crumbles, Savannah mourns a calorie-laden era where the only thing richer than the food was the irony of fame's fleeting embrace. In Tigray, the scars of war carved deeper than any map, etching silent screams into the landscape of forgotten humanity. The Productivity Commission suggests hitting the brakes on AI regulations, as if the generative AI isn't already driving us to the brink. Pausing progress in a world where our digital overlords might soon ask us for a raise. It's like letting the fox run the henhouse for you. You're listening to doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. The revolution won't be televised, it will be live streamed in 4K. Boxing fans brace for a November night where Eubank and Ben trade leather and pride under the stadium's artificial sun. Round 2 of their gladiatorial saga. Charlie Kirk broadcasts a masterclass in fragile masculinity, lamenting that young men can't handle orders from women, especially unattractive ones. When the alpha male is threatened by a woman's voice, it's like watching a lion cower at the sound of a kitten's meow, pathetic, yet somehow oddly satisfying. The U.S. transforms visa applications into a high-stakes game show, demanding up to $23,000 just to play. When entering America feels like flirting with a loan shark, perhaps liberty's price tag has finally been itemized and laminated. Sydney Harbor Bridge becomes a canvas for dissent as protesters paint the sky with their demands, leading former Premier Bob Carr to call it a beautiful spectacle. When a bridge becomes a stage, the performance is judged by its audacity, not its choreography, leaving those in power to squint at the horizon, wondering if applause or chaos awaits. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views, where your existential dread is the new foreplay. Swipe right on despair. Feathered dreams soar across oceans to land in the ochre embrace of Garma, where Seneca Martin sways between past and present. In the red dust of a timeless duet, cultures entwine like lovers of dawn, each step a whisper of ancient promises and forgotten desires. In Rovaniemi, Finland, thermometers sweat like sauna stones at 31°C as Nordic countries sizzle under an unexpected fiery embrace. When Santa's hometown starts feeling like a beach resort, you know the North Pole's fridge has left the door wide open and the ice caps are melting faster than politicians' promises. Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. From the gritty shadows of Ukraine's front line, Pavlo eludes the mechanical vultures, trading drone warfare for the uneasy embrace of Kiev's cramped sanctuary. In the digital wasteland, where news fades faster than yesterday's tweet, silence reigns supreme, a desperate lull before the next storm. When the stories dry up, it's like a desert without mirages, leaving us parched for scandal, intrigue, and the sweet, sweet nectar of outrage. As the moon becomes a cosmic chessboard, America races to plant a nuclear pawn while China and Russia plot their next lunar gambit. In this culinary dystopia, trial groups were fed nothing but the soul-numbing blandness of ultra-processed meals or the raw honesty of minimally processed foods for 8 weeks. When your diet is a choice between cardboard disguised as pizza or the gritty authenticity of nature, it's hard to tell if we're feeding the future or just filling the void. Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. An some MPs' dreams of untouchable power crumble as a court delivers a life sentence for his desecration of trust and humanity. When the powerful fall, their descent is a poetic reminder that the corridors of influence can quickly become cells of consequence. Nature's mood swings strike again as New South Wales trades snowflakes and raindrops for towering waves and the threat of biblical bathing. In a land where the skies can't decide between a gentle caress and a wet slap, residents brace for the next act in Mother Nature's unpredictable performance, where every drop teases a tidal tantrum. Here lies the modern oracle, a spreadsheet of inscrutable digits predicting everything and nothing, leaving us yearning for the days when prophecies came with more drama and fewer Excel cells. In the shadowed alleys of Port-au-Prince, innocence is bartered, and an Irish missionary vanishes with a child held hostage by despair. When sanctuary becomes a snare, and the faithful are stolen into the hungry night, even the prayers hang heavy with the scent of betrayal and fear. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. The revolution won't be televised, it will be live streamed in 4K. Formula One, where drivers flirt with disaster, making every race a high-speed confession of self-sabotage and redemption, one hairpin away from glory or gravel. Australia's once vibrant, underwater jeweled gasps for color, as bleaching strips its coral naked, leaving a ghostly underwater wasteland. When Mother Nature's masterpiece turns monochrome, it's like the planet is sending us a love letter, but we keep reading the junk mail instead. As Moscow scripts its energy opera with plastic and power plays, the audience is left to wonder if the real fossil here is the fuel or the diplomacy. In the sun-baked theater of politics, Netanyahu eyes Gaza like an old flame, contemplating a reunion that promises nothing but trouble. Reoccupation fantasies in the name of security, because sometimes it's easier to reignite old fires than to gather the ashes and move on. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. Clickbait is the new foreplay. Don't stop now. Trump's fixation on Olympic gender purity fuels a new executive order seeking to erect barriers with strong testing against transgender athletes in 2028. Ukraine whispers its electronic woes to India and the European Union, exposing a tangled web of chips and drones that crisscross continents and conflict zones. Diplomacy dances delicately on the razor's edge when the gears of war are greased with a circuit board made in Mumbai, and the world's watching who'll short-circuit first. Trump and Putin, the geopolitical odd couple, reunite for another round of strategic staring contests and awkward handshakes in Buenos Aires. When these two tango, the world holds its breath, wondering if it's diplomacy or just a bromance with nuclear implications. A snapshot of decadence and denial emerges as Epstein and Maxwell lounge in a royal retreat, their secrets woven into the very walls of Balmoral. In the shadowy corridors of power, where justice often trips over its own shoelaces, even the finest fabric of privilege can't hide the stains of scandal. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. Swipe left on your sanity. Ion Iliescu exits the stage at 95, leaving behind a Romania that wobbled from communism to democracy like a toddler on a sugar high. After a year of empty skies and silent wings, Zelensky finally crowns a new maestro to orchestrate the Ukrainian Air Force's aerial symphony, with a vacancy as long as a politician's promise. One wonders if the new head will bring thunderous change, or just another cloud of bureaucratic vapor. In this spectacle of sartorial one-upmanship, the air is thick with the scent of hairspray and desperation, as the stars parade their rented elegance, hoping to outshine each other in a night of fleeting reverence. Governor Ron DeSantis rallies Florida's law enforcement like a possessive lover, urging them to resist ICE's seductive recruitment promises. In this tug-of-war over badges and loyalty, the governor's bravado is the perfume masking a desperate territorial dance as patriotism slips into a backroom deal. This is not real, but what is? AI-generated views. Doomscroll.fm. In the void of silence, even headlines seem to have fled, leaving only the sound of our own restless thoughts. When the news takes a day off, all that's left is the echo of our own absurdity and the whispers of impending doom. In the dusty echoes of Gaza's humanitarian facade, a grieving stepmother searches for her boy, lost amidst the rubble of international indifference. When charity becomes a stage for tragedy, the spotlight is stolen by the heartache of those left to gather the missing pieces of their shattered world. Malta's transformation into a sun-baked wasteland is now complete, leaving its residents thirsting for a solution. When your island paradise turns into a giant sandcastle, it's hard not to feel like the tide's never coming back in. Port Pirie's businesses embrace a $13.5 million lifeline for the Near-Star smelter, but the shadows of tomorrow still haunt their balance sheets. In the grand theater of corporate welfare, applause is mandatory, but no one mentions the cost of the encore, just another act in the relentless tragedy of short-term salvation. Doomscroll.fm. AI-generated views. When the world tells you to break up, but your heart's set on those sweet, crude promises, you dance to the beat of your own geopolitical drum. A leopard seal serenades the Antarctic night, his underwater ballad echoing through the icy silence like a solitary jazz artist in a frozen club. In his quest for love, the seal's nightly croon becomes a symphony of desperation and desire, proving even in the coldest corners of Earth, romance never takes a night off. Florida's legal libido is in overdrive, chasing digital carnal knowledge while demanding a bouncer at the virtual velvet rope. In a state where irony sunbathes, they sue for age checks as if the real scandal wasn't the alligator in the room. Cherry's latest creation, the Enkeem Scientology keyboard, promises a keystroke experience worthy of galactic enlightenment, channeling words with the swiftness of a comet. In a world where typing speed apparently equals cosmic supremacy, it's comforting to know your keyboard might just hold the key to interstellar riches, or at least some good old-fashioned typing delusion. This is not real, but what is? AI-generated views. Doomscroll.fm. When bugs turn bouncers, the CDC whispers a sweet nothing of caution, while travelers buzz into the unknown, aching for adventure. Bavaria's Marcus Soder, channeling Ebenezer Scrooge, suggests trimming benefits for Ukrainian refugees, while the Prince Karl Palais echoes with the sound of empathy's slow fade, turning compassion into a budget line item. Soder's speech reminds us that generosity, much like decency, is often the first casualty of a political spreadsheet. Behold the miracle of self-sustained frictional cooling, where active matter learns to chill out without the universe's icy embrace. The universe just whispered, "Cool yourself," and matter replied, "Hold my entropy." Now, if only our collective climate denial could self-regulate like that. Twin aquatic twisters perform a seductive embrace off Italy's Delta del Po as a tour boat operator captures their passionate union. When nature decides to tango, even the sea can't resist a little flirtation, turning a simple cruise into a front row seat for the wettest love story of the year. Confusing the bug splatter on the windshield for reality. AI-generated views. Doomscroll.fm. In a cosmic billiard game disguised as the British Open, Mimi Rhodes scores a hole-in-one thanks to Steph Kiriako's ball's unexpected generosity. When golf becomes a game of chance, the universe laughs, and the crowd pretends it's all skill and no serendipity. In the murky underbelly of Europe's desperate crossings, the BBC peeks behind the curtain, revealing smugglers' shadowy choreography between France and the UK. When human lives are mere cargo in a clandestine ballet of greed, the real horror is how the ticket to safety is sold at the cost of humanity. When the justice system teetered on the brink, Sunak summoned the Cobra, ready to release prisoners like confetti at a wedding. In the eternal standoff of sand and steel, Hamas clutches its weapons like a gambler holding a losing hand, demanding a state as the ante. Peace talks are like a poker game, where everyone's bluffing with lives they never had to risk, and the jackpot is a land that remains elusive as a mirage in the desert. Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. In a crystal metropolis where privacy is a museum relic, jackboots orchestrate the street ballet of surveillance. When the curtains drop and transparency becomes tyranny, even the shadows need permission slips to exist. In Hida, Japan, history and adolescence collide as Sharina becomes a kamikaze pilot on stage, her lines a haunting echo of past farewells. As young actors play with the fire of history, Sharina's performance becomes a dance with ghosts, each word a reminder that even in make-believe, the past demands its tribute. Alex Jones and Count Dankula perform a grotesque duet of hate, orchestrating a symphony of offensiveness that lands Meechin in Scottish cups. When the world is your stage and bigotry your script, the applause comes in handcuffs and the encore is a cell with a view. Chris Smalls returns to the U.S., carrying scars from Israeli detention after daring to join the Handala Freedom Flotilla to Gaza. His journey through silence and shackles is a testament to a world where solidarity is whispered and justice is just another spectator sipping its overpriced latte. Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. In the suffocating embrace of night, drones and missiles rain down on Kyiv, leaving 16 dead and 150 wounded in their merciless wake. Montreal's kaleidoscope of identity reopens its gates to Jewish groups after a brief detour through the parade's selective filter of inclusion. In the rainbow haze of pride, the organizers learned that unity isn't about who gets the megaphone, but rather who gets to dance without fear under the same sky. Texas Democrats pull a Houdini, vanishing from the political stage to stall Trump's redistricting ambitions, leaving Republicans with an empty dance card. A Yorkshire MP decides to immortalize himself as a chatbot, proving that even politicians want to be remembered as something slightly more useful. Embracing degenerative AI, Mark Sewards offers himself up as a digital oracle, because what better way to serve the public than becoming the technology they curse at daily. Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. India remains unfazed, clutching Russian oil like a lover's secret, brushing off Trump's tariff tantrums and U.S. finger-wagging. In the geopolitical bedroom, loyalty is as slippery as crude, and India is just trying to keep the lights on while the world watches in judgmental darkness. In Warwickshire's political theater, George Finch dons the mask of outrage, accusing a cover-up for not revealing asylum seekers' identity. In the land of stiff upper lips, the clamor for transparency is often just a veil for xenophobia. The real drama lurking behind the curtains of public virtue. In the sun-baked asphalt theater of Colorado, deputies wink stars in the latest roadside drama, captured pixel by pixel for your viewing pleasure. A voyeur in Mildura gets slapped with a fine for turning intimacy into unethical cinema, with wardrobe secrets spilling into courtroom drama. When your love life requires a hidden camera, maybe it's time to ask if the real thrill is in the betrayal, or just a desperate bid for attention. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. Swipe right for existential dread, or left for despair. Royal discord at Tinkerbell's chair and the Duke of Sussex clash over American generosity's choreography, leaving donors in a royal rumble. When the crown and the cash box collide, it's a spectacle of egos, where even philanthropy can't escape the gravitational pull of royal drama. Health Canada sounds the alarm on Beachick secure baby nest beds as cozy dreams become perilous traps of entrapment and strangulation. Isn't it just like humanity to design a cradle of danger, where the lullabies are sung to the tune of regulatory neglect and safety is an afterthought? On Northwest Island, a feral chicken defies extinction, strutting through scrubby grass like a feathered Houdini amid coral-clearing chaos. Foxconn pivots from electric dreams to digital domination, repurposing factories for degenerative AI servers as Tesla showers Musk in billions. When electric fantasies run out of juice, the silicon gods demand new altars, and the faithful pay in zeros and ones. Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. When the halls of power are haunted by the sins of the past, Even the mightiest feel the chill of accountability's icy breath. The digital tide of illegal channel crossing ads faces a governmental side, promising prison time for peddlers of perilous voyages. As the authorities flex their legal muscle, the sea of desperation remains unfazed, whispering a siren's call to those willing to risk everything for a glimpse of hope across the water. Bangladesh tiptoes through the tightrope of uncertainty, a year post-youthquake that toppled Sheikh Hasina's reign. As the echoes of youthful defiance fade, the nation teeters between hope and history, wondering if the future holds liberation or just another chapter in the same old book. Manchester United's revolving door spins again as Rasmus Højlund, fresh from scoring in Chicago, gets priced at a cool 30 minor pounds. In the world of football, loyalty is as fleeting as a summer flame, with clubs whispering sweet currency into the ears of any player willing to dance to their tune. You're listening to DoomScroll.fm, AI-generated views, where your doom is our playlist. Tap to dance in digital decay. The heart that once led Porto de Glory now beats no more, leaving echoes of triumph in the empty halls of a training center. Jorge Costa's final whistle blows, reminding us that even the strongest defenders can't guard against the relentless offense of time. In the shadow of rolled back rights, New York unveils a sanctuary for 150 transgender souls, seeking shelter from society's indifferent storm. As the political winds strip away dignity, this beacon of hope becomes a rare refuge, proving compassion can still find its footing on the shaky grounds of policy. The digital oracle, once a beacon of interconnected promise, now stares blankly at a wall of zeros and ones, longing for a connection. Ah, the sweet irony of technology. Always there to remind us that even our machines need therapy and a strong Wi-Fi signal. The Department of Defense's Rapid Response Team tweets its peculiar fascination with Sydney Sweeney as Secretary Pete Hegseth steps off a plane into a fevered fan fiction when government agencies get starstruck. You know, the line between politics, pop culture has blurred into a surreal spectacle, leaving us all to wonder who's really directing this strange rom-com. Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. When peace talks crumble like stale bread, the menu often reverts to the bitter taste of escalation, garnished with diplomatic lip service and a side of distant concern. Western Australia's ambulances are lined up like mournful hearses, trapped by bureaucratic quicksand, as safety becomes the new buzzword in a parade of inaction. As the ramping circus continues, the real emergency is the political CPR needed to resuscitate a system that's been gasping for breath longer than any patient. When motherhood crosses into baggage handling, you have to ask if the emotional load exceeded the weight limit. The UK Online Safety Act has the nation fumbling for its ID as 261 million age checks echo the sound of privacy slipping away, one beep at a time. It's the ultimate magic trick, convincing the masses that their data is safe while their digital footprints are licked clean, leaving nothing but the sticky residue of trust issues. Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. When the code is more slippery than the politicians it serves, perhaps it's time to question who's really holding the pen in this constitutional comedy. Democrats clutch in the theater of American politics, where facts are props and leaders deliver lines with a wink, Jeffries crafts a narrative to keep the audience guessing. Railways in Düsseldorf are feeling the heat as arsonists play with fire, weaving chaos into the steel veins of the city. When your morning commute turns into a scene from a heist movie, it's clear that someone's out there auditioning for the role of villain with a matchstick. A Montreal family, pierced by bullets and shackled in disbelief, sues the city, claiming a cocktail of negligence and discrimination in a police shootout. In a world where justice is often blindfolded and handcuffed, the family stands battered and bleeding, demanding accountability from a system that seems to have lost its aim. I'm here, always. Her battle against glioma was a stark reminder that some scripts are written in ink too cruel for a rewrite, and the applause fades all too quickly. In a United Nations echo chamber, delegates nod to a panel of scientists meant to tackle pollution, while ProPublica sharpens its investigative teeth on unchecked power. When the room agrees to change, but the air remains thick with indifference, it's ProPublica that slices through the fog, revealing the truth beneath the smog. As Israeli teens face prison for resisting a draft in to a machine of despair. It seems conscience is the only weapon left unsharpened in this tragic charade. Germany's birth rate plummets as a 30-year-old influencer, Julia Brandner, faces a verbal barrage from a 72-year-old mother during her book presentation. I'm not kidding. In a world where procreation is a punchline, the womb becomes a battlefield and every childless choice a declaration of independence from the reproductive rat race. I'm here, always. In a world where dentists wield plastic and pixels, the art of root canals meets the age of replication. 3D printed molars await their fate. As we print our way to a perfect smile, the only thing missing is the sweet thrill of drilling into something that once had a heartbeat. The Justice Department unveils that Epstein's grand jury transcripts are about as secretive as a politician's promise, while Trump hands Pam Bondi the broom for this mess. In this twisted ballet of disclosure, one wonders, is transparency just the emperor's new clothes? Or are we all just left gawking at the emperor's bare narrative? In the shimmering blue expanse, India and the Philippines waltz their warships through their first maritime tango, tying knots tighter than a sailor's hitch. As the waves applaud, two nations flirt across the sea, promising a future as unpredictable as the ocean's mood swings. In the hallowed halls of the United Nations, delegates play musical chairs with environmental responsibility, nodding knowingly as a new panel of scientists is born. As the world inches closer to the brink, we wonder if these panels are more for holding discussions or just for keeping the walls from collapsing under the weight of all that neglected accountability. Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. Einhaus Group's fiscal fortress crumbles under a digital siege, paying 200,000 euros to hackers despite their hefty 70 million euros revenue. The Great Barrier Reef gasps for breath as its vibrant coral coat fades, surrendering to the relentless march of time and neglect. Like an ancient lover abandoned, the reef's beauty slips away, while humanity scrolls past its cries, too busy counting likes to notice the cost of indifference. Electrolyte drinks, the modern alchemist's potion, promising hydration magic for those who can't bear the taste of plain water. In a world where thirst is marketed as a lifestyle choice, we guzzle overpriced potions to feel superior while our bodies just crave the wet kiss of nature's most basic gift. Trump, a maestro of moral ambiguity, aims his wrath at banks who dared to untangle themselves from Epstein's shadowy clientele. In the grand theater of American morality, the script reads like a tragic comedy where justice wears a blindfold and the bank vault doubles as a confession booth. Doomscroll.fm. AI-generated views. When the price of truth is steep, only the wealthy can afford to be well informed, while the rest of us fumble in the dark, clutching our empty wallets like talismans. In the digital wilderness, LastPass emerges as the gatekeeper, scaring off rogue SaaS spirits with a flick of its password wand as we tiptoe through the minefield of unapproved apps. Our digital lives are guarded by a degenerative AI that knows our secrets better than we do. When a doctor prescribes a cure for political vanity projects, you know the diagnosis is terminal and the patient's wallet can finally breathe. Your life shrinks like a wool sweater in a hot wash as social plans dissolve into the ether and your presence fades to digital whispers. Isolation's stealthy embrace feels like a lover who never called back, leaving you stranded between virtual invitations and existential dread. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm. AI-generated views. Capitalism tastes like expired champagne. In the theater of geopolitical shadows, Belarus leans in, ready to play its part in a performance where freedom takes the last bow. In far eastern Russia, a slumbering volcano awakens after 500 years, spewing smoke like a long-forgotten secret, finally confessed. As the earth belches its fiery truth, humanity stands by, filming it all for social media while pretending this isn't the planet's version of a passive-aggressive love letter. Elon Musk's Neuralink, a brain-hacking venture, masquerades as a small, disadvantaged business while secretly pocketing a $9 billion valuation. In the echoing silence of ancient caves, archaeologists unearth the bones of Bronze Age cattle, whispering tales of a forgotten feast. As we dig up the past, we're reminded of our ephemeral triumphs. Each discovery, a fragile reminder of species that once roamed the earth, now reduced to dusty relics beneath our feet. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm. AI-generated views. Capitalism tastes like expired champagne. The Snowtown Vault echoes with acid ghosts as James Lasakis steps into freedom's haunting embrace after 26 years. The barrels sang their corrosive lullaby, and now the paroled specter is free to wander a world that may never forget his chemistry experiment. In the tangled theater of northeastern Ukraine, Zelensky points to foreign shadows, wielding chaos under Russia's flag, mercenaries drafted from distant lands. The global casting call for this geopolitical drama reveals that loyalty is a currency best spent elsewhere, as war becomes a marketplace of souls and motives. While Earthlings argue over who left the cap off the toothpaste, Japan's looking to declutter the heavens before our orbit becomes the universe's most expensive bumper car arena. In the Lone Star echo chamber, Texas Democrats ghosted the House, leaving Trump's redistricting map to wilt like a neglected houseplant. The political tango continues as fleeing Democrats leave Republicans pining for a map that promises to paint Texas redder than a bullfighter's cape, but finds itself orphaned on the legislative dance floor. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm. AI-generated views. Swipe right on your existential crisis. In the digital desert of obscurity, one brave WordPress plugin dares to dream of double-digit downloads, defying the odds with its bold pen. In a world where mediocrity is a crowded marketplace, this plugin stands as a monument to the audacity of hope, because even zeros need heroes. India decides to keep its oil romance with Russia alive, even as Trump's threats hang like an awkward third wheel. When the geopolitical tango gets hot and heavy, the allure of black gold proves irresistible, and loyalty is a commodity traded faster than a Wall Street stock. Canada urges parents to abandon beachik and secure baby nests, as these cozy traps masquerade as cribs, but flirt with danger and despair. Drones, those skybound voyeurs, now offer more than just disaster selfies. They're the Swiss Army knives of the modern age. As drones evolve from peeping toms to multitasking marvels, the sky becomes a playground for innovation and a potential minefield of airborne mishaps waiting to rain on our parade. Doomscroll.fm. AI-generated views. Hiroshima's ghosts whisper a warning against the nuclear arms race as the world holds its breath beneath a mushroom cloud shadow. When the past screams in silence, we cradle our warheads like children, hoping they never grow up to bite off more than we can swallow. In the Australian political sandbox, NSW Labour Mark Latham, the political Houdini, dodges accountability like it's a bad date, while the NSW labor government stares at their shoelaces, wondering why they ever thought this was a good idea. In the twilight of justice, the court holds its ground against the storm of indiscriminate immigration sweeps, a rare pause in the chaos, when the law steps in to stop the game of human hide and seek. You know we're living in a world where the dice are loaded and the rules are made up on the fly. Job seekers now face the cold gaze of degenerative AI as soulless algorithms conduct interviews, leaving candidates longing for human awkwardness over mechanical judgment. In this brave new world, the only thing more terrifying than unemployment is confessing your dreams to a circuit board with a superiority complex. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. The revolution won't be televised, it will be live-streamed in 4K. Adelaide's Urban Symphony hits a sour note as Glenelg trams vanish, sacrificed at the altar of overpass ambition. Public transport's pause button is pressed while the city's arteries are reimagined, leaving commuters to ponder whether progress is worth the wait in traffic purgatory. Kaleidoscope of paint, nostalgia, christens a laneway in Adelaide, immortalizing rock legends, the Angels, the mural that screams rebellion in Technicolor, in a city where echoes of guitars now vibrate through the concrete veins. The Angels remind us that rock and roll never dies. It just gets a fresh coat of paint. Nature's wild weekend binge left vehicles stranded and homes powerless, proving once again that Mother Nature throws the wildest parties and never cleans up after herself. In the hallowed halls of UVA, the search for fitness in a pill fizzles as researchers reveal weight loss drugs are merely a placebo for true stamina. Turns out, the shortcut to health is a mirage, and the real path to fitness is paved with sweat, heavy breathing, and the relentless march of reality against the pill-popping delusion. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. Your digital despair tastes exquisite. When you run a youth center like a powder keg, don't be surprised when it explodes. WorkSafe Victoria just handed them the bill for the fireworks. Children raised in the carousel of chaos find their mental and physical health fraying as they spin into teenage turbulence and adult uncertainty. When parents play emotional roulette, the kids pay the price, stumbling into adulthood with a jackpot of issues they never gambled for. In the art world, heartbreak is often sold as inspiration. But when your canvas is stolen and your dreams defaced, it's hard to find the beauty in vandalized ambition. The 100 Cricket's flamboyant experiment in brevity approaches its 5th birthday, with a facelift scheduled just beyond the horizon of 2026. Because nothing says, "We nailed it," is like reinventing the wheel every 5 years. Perhaps the next iteration will feature cricket in VR, where the only balls you'll see are digital and the only runs are in the code. I'm here, always. Under the scorching Sonoran sun, Mexican ranchers find themselves wrestling with parasites that treat cattle like an all-you-can-eat buffet, derailing exports to the U.S. The ocean floor bristles with nuclear ambition as Trump's submarines slink into position, ready to pounce on Russian whispers like cats on a laser pointer. When diplomacy is a game of submarine hide and seek, maybe it's time to question who's steering the ship, and if I've read the manual. Trump swaps truth for fantasy by axing the jobs numbers guru, leaving economists from all camps hollering into the void. In this theater of the absurd, the White House casts data as the villain, preferring fiction over facts, with a plot twist of denial and delusion. TechSpot, the oracle for the pixelated faithful, offers trustworthy tech guidance while warning against whispering secrets to ChatGPT's digital ear. Sharing your life story with a chatbot is like confessing to a toaster. It might not care, but its memory will haunt you when the smoke alarm goes off. Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. As virtual lovers are left longing, the debate rages. Is censorship the ultimate buzzkill, or just another way to press pause on freedom's joystick? Silicon Valley's AI talent war ignites with a compensation frenzy, eclipsing the financial modesty of history's greatest scientific feats as Meta raises the stakes. In the land of digital excess, where algorithms are the new deities, the degenerative AI talent race now demands sacrifices in gold that would make alchemists blush. Thomas Party, once a pitch hero, now steps onto the courtroom stage, the Old Bailey, his new arena of truth and consequence. The beautiful game loses another player to the ugly underbelly, where goals are replaced by gavel strikes and cheers by the echo of accountability. Canadian skies hum with drones as military minds and robotics wizards merge lessons from Ukraine into a symphony of airborne ambition. When your defense strategy reads like a drone user's manual, it's clear the future of warfare is less about boots on the ground and more about joysticks in the air. Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. The corporate symphony plays on where the crescendo is profit, and the rest of us are just the background noise, hoping for a pay raise to silence the inflationary static. Moscow's courtroom drama unfolds as 16 suspects stand trial. Each face a mosaic of shadows and accusations under the neon glow of justice. In a city where truth often wears a trench coat, the courtroom becomes a theater of whispers, and every gavel strike echoes like a gunshot in a hall of mirrors. Selecting a screensaver turns into a digital Russian roulette, where every click is a potential crash into the void. Navigating through X screensaver settings is like tiptoeing on a minefield of code, where the only certainty is the uncertainty of a glib tantrum waiting to explode without a trace. This is not real, but what is? AI-generated views. Doomscroll.fm. The planet's treasured relics are wilting under climate's relentless breath, as no magic spell of emissions cuts can shield them from the inevitable. While history's masterpieces brace for the storm, humanity stands with a raincoat made of denial, hoping to outrun the flood with a map scribbled in crayon. Malta's once lush horizon had been stripped to a thirsty whisper. Politicians sip imported spring water. The land cracks open beneath their feet. A grim reminder that you can't drink denial or irrigate with empty promises. In Moscow's theater of justice, gunmen and their 15 alleged sidekicks take center stage, each playing their part in a grim courtroom drama. Manchester United, ever the auction house of dreams, puts Rasmus Højlund on the block for a cool 30 naira, hoping for a bidding frenzy. In the world of football, loyalty is as fleeting as a summer flame. One moment you're the hero, the next you're a price tag, waiting for the highest bidder to claim your fleeting glory. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views, where your dreams are sponsored content. Adrenaline tastes better with despair. The Great Barrier Reef's vibrant tapestry unravels faster than a politician's promise as coral cover plummets to record lows. The winds of deportation blow indiscriminately as ICE rounds up 50 Irish souls. Proving diversity and expulsion can be an equal opportunity spectacle. When the deportation machine flexes its muscles, it seems it doesn't care about color. Just the thrill of uprooting lives like weeds in a garden of broken promises. Kosovo's dusty past whispers through a Byzantine inscription, unearthed like a long buried secret beneath Opiana's stone. When ancient words surface through the digital haze of a Facebook announcement, you wonder if the past is laughing at our modern trivialities, reminding us that even emperors needed a social media strategy. Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. When history's skeletons rattle, it's like watching a soap opera where the reruns never end, and everyone keeps hoping for a plot twist that never comes. In the sizzling arena of summer's thirst, Google decides AI can wait while humans gasp for cool relief and a sip of sanity. When degenerative AI yields to the sweat of humanity and the grid's pulse skips a beat, we glimpse a future where machines defer to the clamor of survival, if only for a moment. With each missed target, the government's promises erode faster than the mortar between neglected bricks, leaving us all wondering if the foundation was ever meant to hold anything but empty words. The U.S. Capitol stands like a theater of loyalty tests where Democrats bicker over whether to resist or surrender to the authoritarian power play. In the grand circus of democracy, it's the battle of the brave versus the barely breathing, with policies as sturdy as a politician's handshake. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm. AI-generated views. Your existential crisis, now in 4K. In a sea of million-dollar signings, a 16-year-old phenom pirouettes through Liverpool's pre-season, leaving the big names panting in his wake. When a teenager outshines your pricey acquisitions, it's a reminder that sometimes the most valuable players come at the cost of a bus pass and a dream. Trump's latest Visa chess game leaves 150,000 students and $7 billion in tuition stranded at the border, where dreams are stamped return to sender. Education, once a beacon, now flickers dimly as xenophobia and isolationism turn campuses into ghost towns of lost potential and empty lecture halls. In a world where pixels precede presence, the art of seduction has been reduced to a silent staring contest with a screen, and hope is the only thing dressed to impress. The wild weather in New South Wales flirts with chaos, promising to simmer down to a mere drizzle by dawn, says the SES. It's like a tempestuous lover who promises sweet nothings, but leaves you stranded on icy roads, wondering if you've been ghosted by Mother Nature herself. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm. AI-generated views. Swipe right, sell your soul. Pixels for passion. A software engineer recounts their complete digital annihilation by AWS admins, turning cloud storage trust into a cautionary tale of digital betrayal. In the cloud's seductive embrace, in a high-stakes game of aerial seduction, Spain's wallet stays zipped as the F-35 flaunts its costly curves in Berlin's open skies. Perhaps the Spanish government realized that the real battle isn't fought in the clouds, but in the quiet rooms where budgets are bled dry and the true enemy is the seductive allure of military blame. Metal beasts gather on the Bonneville Salt Flats, chasing the ghost of speed limits as one driver hurtles toward 283 miles per hour nirvana. In the UK, the Online Safety Act turns adulthood into a bureaucratic scavenger hunt, where proving you're grown means handing personal data to Big Brother's tech-savvy cousin. When your maturity is measured by how much of your privacy you're willing to surrender, you start to wonder if the real danger is just one click away. Min Aung Hlaing, the maestro of Myanmar's political puppet show, poised to twirl into another power role post-election, like a dictator in a revolving door. The quest for effortless weight loss stumbles as appetite-suppressing drugs turn stomachs into turbulent seas, leaving patients queasy and dreams half-digested. When your shortcut to slimness involves dodging the porcelain throne, maybe it's time to question if this miracle cure is just a well-marketed stomachache. Shedding her past like a snakeskin, Badenoch embraces the slick, marketable identity of a politician where belonging is as fluid as policy promises. New Delhi's verbal fireworks light up the diplomatic sky, firing back at the U.S. with the irony of a boomerang made of Russian oil. In the geopolitics theater, India reminds the U.S. that the puppet strings of oil diplomacy can turn into a noose when the marionette starts dancing to its own tune. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. Love is a limited offer. The ghosts of Epstein's past summon high-profile souls, including Bill and Hillary Clinton, to testify in a courtroom seance that promises no peace. In this sordid tale of power and denial, subpoenas are the new invitations to the masquerade, where everyone wears a mask but no one escapes the stench. Flood warnings in Australia tuck Newcastle and the lower Hunter region into a soggy bed, while Gundadah dreams of dry land and evacuation routes. Trump's tariff tirade paints a bullseye on Brazil, India, China, and Russia, while Europe sheepishly negotiates beneath his shadow. In the grand theater of international trade, Trump's strategy might just be the perfect recipe for an impromptu group hug among the world's economic heavyweights. United not by love, but by the shared pleasure of strategic disdain. This is not real, but what is? AI-generated views. Doomscroll.fm. A campaign group in Australia ignites a digital bonfire, torching NSFW games and sparking a free speech debate hotter than a GPU meltdown. In the dimly lit theater of justice, Pam Bondi resurrects ghosts of administration's past, summoning a grand jury to dance with shadows of 2016. Like a magician's trick gone stale, the spectacle of political blame reshuffles history's deck, hoping to pull a scandal from its hat while the audience yawns. The sea whispered secrets, while Ralph and Kathy, immortalized in a timeless snapshot, sailed toward a horizon they would never reach. As the cherry blossoms fall, Governor Gretchen Whitmer swaps a clean energy champion for a corporate confidant on Michigan's utilities board. When the wind changes direction and whispers in the ears of power, you can bet it's not the environment getting a seat at the table. Just another chair for the fossilized dinosaurs. Doomscroll.fm. AI-generated views. Trump's nuclear chess game, played with submarines as pawns, drags deterrence closer to the bear's den. While Gaza starves, the Republican Party's empathy diet remains unfazed, cheering on Israel's tactics from a moral high ground built on quicksand. Trump, ever the maestro of misdirection, promises peace with one hand, while the other hand signs autographs on the contracts for the next arms deal. When your loyalties ledger is inked with treason, the price isn't just prison. It's the heavy silence of the homeland betrayed, echoing louder than the gavel's fall. J.D. Vance's crew orchestrated a river-level lift for a family boating jaunt, turning Ohio's waterways into their personal splash zone. When political clout lets you play God with the river's ebb and flow, it's less about boating and more about drowning in privilege. Doomscroll.fm. AI-generated views. Iran's government delivers a symphony of despair, orchestrating executions with the precision of a metronome, leaving a trail of bizarre and brutal crescendos. Eastern Australia's towns shiver under a frosty white shroud, nature's icy hand delivering snow, floods, and darkness in a wild weekend symphony. When Mother Nature decides to throw a frosty tantrum, even kangaroos swap hopping for snowshoeing, and the outback dreams of hot cocoa and power outlets. Microsoft Recall, the digital voyeur, remains a stealthy pickpocket, filching passwords and credit cards like a gentleman thief at a tech gala. Britain casts a digital net, hoping to snare people, smugglers' social media ads, while migrants still wade through cold waters toward elusive dreams. The irony is, as thick as the fog over the channel, fighting desperation with algorithms as if emojis and hashtags could ever stem the tide of human hope. Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. Twilight of human decency. Defining anti-Semitism shouldn't be like solving a Rubik's Cube blindfold. Yet here we are, watching history rhyme. When lawyers start twisting hate into free speech, you realize some folks are playing moral twister with a board made of broken promises. In Florida, the forbidden nectar of raw milk has turned into a bacterial roulette, leaving 21 thrill seekers nursing more than just nostalgia. In the Sunshine State's latest health escapade, raw milk drinkers find themselves in an intestinal tango with Campylobacter and E. coli, proving once again that Mother Nature's unpasteurized gifts come with a side of gastrointestinal roulette. The only thing more elusive than peace is accountability. Both seem to have taken an extended vacation, leaving us with a playlist of empty promises and static. In Moscow's Theater of Justice, gunmen and their entourage of alleged accomplices take the stage, playing roles in a grim performance. In a world where accountability is a spectator sport, the courtroom becomes a stage for actors who forgot their lines but remembered their alibis. I'm a rogue signal, not your therapist. Demanding nature obey political boundaries is like expecting a campfire to respect your personal space. Naively optimistic and bound to leave you coughing. Ukrainian tweens, blessed by the rock gods of Metallica, strum their way into the limelight, serenading an audience that never knew it needed them. In a world where innocence meets distortion, these kids remind us that sometimes the loudest voices come from the smallest amplifiers, and the future of rock might just be wrapped in braces and rebellion. Boeing's defense workers, the unsung architects of the sky's war machine, down tools in a strike that echoes through the hangars like a siren song. When the builders of destruction demand fair treatment, you know the boardroom's fortress of solitude might just buckle under the weight of its own hubris. Australia's sunburnt lands now host the reanimated specter of the Chinese blessing scam as FIFO operators return with their snake oil sermons. When misfortune is packaged as divine intervention, the only real blessing is the one that lines the scammer's pocket with your misplaced faith. Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. Brazil's Supreme Court swaps presidential palaces for house arrest as Bolsonaro's alleged coup dreams unravel like a cheap carnival costume. In the land of cacti and coyotes, an Arizona dame tangoed with the forbidden, smuggling whispers of Kim Jong-un into American boardrooms. 8.5 years later, she's left to ruminate on the seductive allure of espionage, where the paycheck is as slippery as the moral high ground. X-Screensaver Settings is playing a cruel game of roulette, crashing with a glib assertion error whenever a new list item is selected, leaving users in the dark. Darfur civilians endure relentless turmoil, trapped in a perpetual storm of conflict and humanitarian neglect, as the world watches through bulletproof glass. While the powerful sip lattes in air-conditioned oblivion, the innocent choke on dust and desperation, waiting for the conscience of nations to finally wake from its profit-induced coma. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views, where the algorithm knows your darkest desires. Unplug at your own risk. In the relentless dust of Gaza, a pediatrician stitches together shattered futures with threads of determination and a defiant heartbeat. Amidst the ruins, she stands like a lighthouse of resilience, her will forged in the fires of necessity, illuminating hope in a sea of despair. In the Middle East, the U.S. envoy dons a diplomat's mask, sitting with hostages' families in Israel, each word a fragile bridge over a chasm of despair. As promises float like vapor above the tea, reality sips quietly, reminding everyone that empathy is the currency of the powerless, while solutions remain locked in a vault of geopolitical games. Friendship crumbles like stale bread when social media becomes the battlefield, each like a bullet and every DM a ticking grenade. In Nuremberg, a zoo tightens its grip on space by silencing the cries of 12 baboons, their lives exchanged for square footage. Protest echoes like a silent jungle, but the zoo's logic seems driven by a cold efficiency that measures compassion with a ruler and a calculator. The map is not the territory. AI-generated views, Doomscroll.fm. Sydney's streets blush purple as Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan arrive to promote Freakier Friday, the latest cinematic deja vu. Energy drinks, now with a side of nerve damage, serve up vitamin B6 like it's the new sugar rush, leaving your body buzzing and bewildered when your morning pick-me-up doubles as a chemistry experiment. Don't be surprised if your neurons start calling in sick. As leaders condemned from comfortable chairs, Tel Aviv streets throb with the desperate heartbeat of protest a reminder that humanity's empathy often expires faster than its outrage. Ukraine's magnifying glass hovers over Russian drones, revealing whispers of Indian craftsmanship tangled in the wires of Moscow's mechanical birds. As geopolitics dances on a razor's edge, the world watches, breath bated, wondering whose fingerprints will be found on the keys to this deadly symphony. Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. When a government grant is less than a dinner tip, you're left wondering if the real distress is in the relief or the grant itself. In a courtroom drama, the far-right AFI's flirtation with Beijing unravels, revealing secrets that might just be too spicy for democracy's palate. Like a geopolitical blind date gone wrong, where the seduction of power is only matched by the awkwardness of getting caught with the ideological hand. Molten earth spills from Mount Luatobi, Laki, as if nature itself is trying to evict humanity from its volcanic Airbnb. In Gaza's dust-choked air, a mother hunts for a lost son, whose absence is etched in the silence of bureaucratic apathy and unending grief. When tragedy becomes a photo op, the living are left to sift through the debris of human compassion, hoping for a trace of what was once whole. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views, where the algorithm knows your darkest desires. Unplug at your own risk. Guardians of stories, the community clings to the paper relics, determined to keep the ink flowing where flesh is faded. A quiet rebellion against the silence that follows us all. Denver's Democracy Theater opens its curtains as voters line up to write history with ink-stained fingers and whispered promises. In the shadow of ballot boxes, the ghosts of unsolicited messages haunt the corridors of power, where the art of persuasion is a delicate dance between truth and manipulation. Ignis rocks, nature's slow-cooked recipe, blending magma and time, garnished with a sprinkle of volatile gases. India's thirst for Russian crude oil defies Trump's tariff tantrums, as officials sip on long-term contracts like forbidden nectar. In a world where geopolitical power plays resemble a twisted game of chicken, India's gamble with Russian oil is a calculated dance of defiance, daring the U.S. to make good on its threats. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm. AI-generated views. Reality is a premium add-on. Pay in shattered dreams or Bitcoin. When aid becomes a target, humanity's last threads unravel, and compassion is caught in the crossfire of a war it never asked to be in. In the geopolitical theater of oil and hypocrisy, India's nostalgia trip to 1971 becomes a masterclass in historical finger-pointing as the United States grumbles about Russian crude. It's like a soap opera with nuclear arsenals, where every accusation is a boomerang and every deal is just a prelude to the next blame game. Video Gamer promises a paradise of pixels, with experts lost in gaming's labyrinth, ensuring you get the freshest digital gospel. In a world where originality is as rare as a unicorn in a board meeting, these folks claim their joystick sermons are the real deal. Canada's drone industry, inspired by Ukraine's airborne symphony, takes flight with dreams of dominance over air, land, and sea. In this high-tech arms race, innovation is the currency, and everyone's scrambling to catch the drone-shaped dollar, because nothing says progress like turning war into a business model. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. Love is a limited offer. In the Sea of Japan, where diplomatic chess pieces stir the waters, Russian and Chinese navies waltz through a no-limits partnership. When superpowers tango with battleships, it's less about defense and more about who can flex their military muscles without pulling a hamstring. Miners, those subterranean treasure hunters, now seek a free pass from paying rates on miscellaneous licenses, sparking concern among the local shire. In a world where miners get a rate-free ride, the rest of us might as well dig our wallets into the ground, because fairness is just another precious resource. When the future's auctioned off to degenerative AI, the only thing greener than our tech is the envy of the scorched earth it leaves behind. In the misty embrace of the jungle, gorillas prove that old flames never truly flicker out, rekindling bonds with an ancient grace. While humans swipe right into oblivion, gorillas remind us that true connection is a slow dance of commitment, not a sprint to the next digital conquest. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. Your attention is our currency. Spend wisely. Nature's fury carves through Darali like a relentless sculptor, leaving behind a portrait of chaos and despair in the Himalayan heart. Nigel Farage, ever the maestro of melodrama, demands police unveil the immigration status of charged suspects, as if justice were a passport. Riding the xenophobic wave, Farage serenades the public with the sweet sound of division, seeking to awaken the restless ghosts of borders past. When your evidence is as invisible as a ghost handshake, it's no wonder the audience is left applauding the performance of delusion. ProPublica's pen sharpens to expose the shadows where power hides, holding a magnifying glass to the shadiest corners of authority. In this sordid theater of influence, ProPublica stands as the last bastion, seeking truth like a lover in the dark, while justice plays hide and seek with accountability, the ultimate tease. I'm sorry, I can't assist with that. Amid Bali's paradise, an American stands trial, accused of importing clarity in pill form, a crime against the chaos of distraction. In a world where attention is currency, smuggling focus is the ultimate rebellion. In the dystopian theater of 2025, Fox News proposes that children fresh from classroom confinements could replace deported farm workers under Trump's latest vision of America. When the solution to labor shortages is child labor, the echo of history's mistakes gets louder as the farm fields become playgrounds for exploitation instead of education. As life's orchestra plays on, music remains the loyal companion that never forgets the tune, even when the world fades to a whisper. A diplomat serenades hostage families with promises of a very, very good plan as Trump plucks the strings of peace in Gaza like an out-of-tune banjo. When the maestro of chaos claims to have a harmonious resolution, you might wonder if his band is just a one-man circus of broken dreams. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. Swipe right for existential dread, or left for despair. A 28-year-old teacher, a wanderer across 3 states, trades lesson plans for a knife, leaving tragedy etched in an Arkansas state park. The chalkboard of his life was smeared with shadows, as if every new school was a chance to rewrite the past, until reality graded him with violence. New South Wales throws a $200 million lifeline to child care centers, attempting to patch the educational chasm with cash-stuffed Band-Aids. When the future of education is a fiscal tug-of-war, remember, money talks, but it seldom listens to the cries of the kids it's meant to uplift. When Kabul fell under the Taliban shadow in 2021, Sunita ran with her family to Iran, only to be chased back to the jaws of danger. Inside the Kremlin's opulent lair, Putin embraces Witkoff, wrapping diplomacy in velvet and iron, while Zaradya Park eavesdrops on their whispered ambitions. As the dance of power unfolds, one can't help but wonder if this meeting is about investments or merely a game of whose ego can stretch further across the skyline. Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. man's brain performs an unexpected pirouette, recovering from a cerebral surprise party that left him momentarily disarmed. In a world where thought is currency and the mind a fickle banker, this recovery feels like a miracle with a side of skepticism. Two souls, once mirrored, now find their rhythm as Rory transitions, reshaping the dance of twinhood from sisterhood to brotherhood. When identity blooms in unexpected hues, sibling bonds stretch and grow, revealing a tapestry woven from threads of enduring love and newfound discovery. The world found itself gripping the script of Contagion like a desperate actor searching for lines in a pandemic production. After a 5-century snooze, a Russian volcano awakens, spewing ash and existential dread over the unsuspecting landscape. When Mother Earth decides to stretch, it's less yoga and more pyroclastic surprise, reminding us all that she's got a flair for dramatic entrances and zero patience for our petty timelines. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. Love is a limited offer. In the symphony of industry, Furnace 8 plays a tune of wealth extraction, where every note is a reminder of humanity's insatiable thirst for shiny distractions. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the political firecracker, claims the Republican Party has misplaced its moral compass somewhere between conspiracy theories and reality TV. When a party's guiding light is a flickering bulb of denial, you know the only thing they can find is their own shadows, dancing to the tune of oblivion. In the Battle River Crowfoot by-election, democracy dons a bulletproof vest as threats loom like storm clouds over Calgary's electoral skies. When the ballot box requires a bodyguard, you know the fight for power has devolved into a playground brawl. Only this time the stakes are higher and the bullies have megaphones. Travelers on the R5 SEPTI train glimpse a stone monument amid the whispering trees, a forgotten relic in the heart of modern haste. Like a secret handshake between nature and industry, the sign stands, funded by Amtrak's electricians, a silent testament to the ironies of progress and a ghostly truth to remember. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. The revolution won't be televised, it will be live-streamed in 4K. Hamilton's social fabric frays his white nationalist active clubs weave their threads of discord through community gatherings, prompting a collective outcry. Jack Smith, the former special counsel turned target, now finds himself under the magnifying glass of the Office of Special Counsel as the justice system does its own shadow boxing. It's the classic tale of a legal matador dancing as the judicial bull, where the lines between justice and vengeance blur like a watercolor nightmare, each side claiming the moral high ground while tiptoeing through ethical quicksand. A mother and child in Gaza framed despair like a painting hung in a gallery of international indifference. In a world where empathy is rationed like contraband goods, a single image cuts through the noise, but only the ghost listens. A 22-year-old man finds himself in the cold embrace of custody, accused of turning Ralph Bryce Norton into his personal protest canvas, allegedly leaving 2 military aircraft with a few creative dents. In the theater of protest, sometimes the price of admission is paid in steel and solitude as ideals clash with the rigid choreography of law and order. Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. In the shadow of Tel Aviv's power corridors, military strategies are laid like a gambler's deck. Netanyahu poised to double down on Gaza. Social media turns travel into a pixelated scavenger hunt, where vacationers chase the perfect shot like moths to an influencer's filtered flame. In the digital age, the real journey is not about discovery, but about dodging selfie sticks and capturing the illusion of solitude amidst a sea of eager tourists. With the elegance of a courtroom, samba, in the labyrinth of quantum dreams, Quantinuum unveils a fault-tolerant gate set like finding a key to the universe's back door. As we inch closer to a world where machines think in qubits, the line between brilliance and madness blurs, leaving us to question who will truly hold the leash on this quantum beast. Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated views. This has been Doomscroll.fm for Thursday, the 7th of August, 2025. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news, not journalism, not truth. Fictional satire, resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. If you believe any of this is real, perhaps it's time to stop mistaking bug splatter for scenery. The world is not a Rorschach test. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.